So children, now next part we are coming to is that what does heat cause? What are the effect of heat? If we supply heat or if we take out heat, what will happen to different circumstances or event? Number one is हर चीज का practical करना है सारे बच्चों को. Every one of you, when you are sitting down, you do it at home. You have got things at home through which you can understand heat. First thing is that when you heat anything, it will expand. Few exceptions are only there. But any metal, anything, if you heat, it will expand. Now how do you say sir practical कहाँ देखें अब expand करता है? तो हाँ, practical में आप घर में in your house there is a pressure cooker. Then what is happening when you are putting the pressure cooker? You can check when you are putting the pressure cooker on the gas stove, and then after sometimes you see that there is a whistle. Why this whistle is coming? Because the air inside, the hot air inside, or what is happening, more pressure is there because the gases produced inside are expanding, and therefore at one particular juncture it expands so much that it has to be released, so it pushes the whistle up. Then, but more simple way, can you tell me where you have seen expansion? Anybody at home where you have seen really literally that? And all of you have seen, I know all of you have seen, but you will not be able to tell. Try it out, please. Put in the comment box before you go ahead. In the thermometer, there is a liquid metal, that is mercury. When you put that under your tongue when you are having fever, why the mercury rises up? Because it is heat sensitive. It will expand, and when it will expand, then what will happen? It will rise up, and you can see that expansion. There is a graduation. You can notice down your temperature. So heat causes, number one, expansion or contraction. Expansion or contraction. Expansion or contraction. That means just the opposite of heat. Expansion is contraction. That means if you supply heat, then what happens? A metal will expand, or and certain objects will expand. Most of the things. There are a few exceptions. I'll let you know the exception also. Now expansion will be there when you are having fever. The mercury rises up and you can see your temperature. Then later on when you put the thermometer bulb in a cold water, then it will again contract and fall down in the bulb. So the expansion and contraction takes place, and therefore we have to be careful about this effect of heat. So practically how does it help? Then you will see that most of the time when you go to near the railway lines, you will see the railway tracks, they are not continuous. In between there is a break and there is a gap over there. In the summer season, when this track will expand, then both the tracks will almost touch, but they will never overlap each other. If it was continuous, because of the expansion, what will happen? The track will distort. Same thing, you know what happens when people, they have this electrical wiring. Now you know transmission wire from the power plant to your house, you see aluminum wires are there. So now what happens, during the winter it will contract, and during the summer it will expand. Therefore electrical pole, when they fix up in the electrical pole, when they fix up these wires, then the wires are sufficiently loose, so that in winter if they contract, then still they do not become short, and in summer when they expand, they do not expand too much. So there is an optimum measurement taken, and these wirings has to be done. Even on certain bridges like the Howrah Bridge, which is totally metallic, what happens? There are this is the bridge, it is totally metallic. Then here there will be little wheels which are engineered in a nice way. So when during the summer this bridge expands, then these wheels are pushed ahead, and when it contracts, it comes nearer, but then there is no distortion in the bridge. So remember that. So first of the effect is expansion or contraction. Second, also you have seen what other thing heat can do. The heat will raise the temperature. Rise of temperature. Heat raises the temperature. Rise or fall of temperature. Rise and fall of temperature. I mean to say, if you heat a body, its temperature will rise, and if you cool a body, its temperature will fall down. In the on the this you can do, you can take a thermometer quietly and little warm water you put, see the mercury rising very fast. There are two types of thermometer. One is the clinical thermometer, one is a thermometer which we use to measure our body temperature, another is the lab temperature which measures the room temperature. You can take that lab thermometer, you can ask your parents to buy it, it is very cheap, and you can perform this experiment and write on the comment box. You know what happens when things are inside you. If you put normal water on the stove and you heat it little bit and you put the thermometer over there, you see fast mercury will rise. But when you take it off and again measure it, when it cools down, the thermometer temperature will show decrease in temperature, the fall in temperature. So giving heat means rise in temperature and taking out heat means cooling, fall in temperature. How do you take out heat? Can anybody tell me? You take out heat when you keep things inside the refrigerator. All right. Did you understand? And another one very important thing is what? Change of state. Change of state. Change of state. Change of state. Now I will just give you it through a drama. You will be able to understand very nicely about all these things. You know what happens? Suppose we take ice. Then what will happen? When you heat ice, then the ice molecules are at random motion, but I have got very less energy. But when you start heating them up, then what happens? The molecules start running here and there, and then what happens? The temperature, suppose the ice was at -4, the temperature start rising to -4, -3, -2, -1 and 0. Now what happens? The vibration is so much that these ice molecules start breaking up and flowing, and now ice becomes fluid. From solid it becomes fluid, that is liquid. And then what happens? Once the whole ice converts into water, then again when you supply heat, then these water molecules start running here and there, and because of this vibration, because there is this vibration and collision, what happens? The temperature rises up and the water starts getting at higher temperature from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. When you are looking at the stove and the water kept on the stove, you will find something is moving inside. You can hear also the sound, and then what happens? The movement starts increasing at 100 degree. When water reaches at 100 degree, the energy of the water molecule is very large. And then what happens? First what happened? It melted from ice, it became water. That means there was a change of state from solid to liquid. And then once again if you heat the liquid water, then what happens? Its temperature rises till what degree centigrade? 100 degree centigrade. And there what will happen? It will again change its state and water will convert into vapor form at its boiling point. And then that means change of state takes place. In certain case the changes is so fast. That means first let me explain you this way. Solid melts to give liquid, liquid vaporizes or boils to give vapor. All right, liquid boils. All right, even iron, when you heat up iron, its temperature will rise at 1538 degree. It will start melting around 1528 to 30 degree. 1538 degree, very high temperature. Iron also melt, and around 3000 to 4000 degrees centigrade, the iron also becomes vapor. Change of state takes place. All right, so change of state means from, what is the change of state? When solid gets converted to liquid, it is melting, and when liquid get converted to its vapor, then it's boiling. And but certain times what happens? Suddenly directly from solid it can change to gaseous state, like the camphor balls in your room. The mummy keeps some substance which smells, it's a white naphthalene balls. So naphthalene balls, what happens? It will change directly from solid to gaseous state. This process is called sublimation. So these are certain effects of heat. And because of these effects, what happens? There are certain things which we do, like as I said, leaving gaps between the railway tracks so that it does not, the railway track have got sufficient space during expansion, they do not overlap or get distorted. Same thing about bridges I told. Same thing about, when electrical wiring is done, a very measured length is left, so that in winter when it contracts, it does not break down, and it will in summer when it sags, it does not come down and touch anybody. So this is what is totally firstly basic of heat. In the next video we will study about temperature scale and heat. Thank you so much.